Right, so what have we here? This is Andy Summers replica Telecaster, built by a company in the UK called The Painted Player. Always wanted one of these, built my own version of it a while back. Not as nice as this one. This is, out of all the guitars I've got, I mean, I'm not being biased, but it's probably the nicest to play of the lot. It's a toss up between this and possibly the Parker over there, but I'm not concentrating on that, I'm concentrating on this. Lovely guitar. It's basically 60s Japanese Fender, I think it's classic vibe body, and a 50s neck on there. I'll show you the back. There we go. There's a few things that are slightly different to the proper one. We'll point them out, and I'm sure there's other aficionados probably spot stuff that I haven't spotted. First thing, the number on the back, which I can well understand. You can't really go putting the true Fender number on the back of it when it wasn't put together by a custom shop or anybody like that. It'd be a bit cheeky, wouldn't it, to put the correct number. The tuners are wrong. Apparently Andy somebody swapped them for shallows at some point. So unfortunately that's a discrepancy. Doesn't bother me at all. Decent enough tuners, they do the job. But the original actually apparently has shallows on it. I've had a look at a few photos and yes, it does. Back to the front again. There we go, down the neck. Absolutely gorgeous neck on it. Action's lovely and low. 9s on it by the feel of it. I normally play 10s, but I'm going to stick with 9s on here. That front pickup sounds glorious. Lovely mellow, warm. The proper armadillo bridge. Really, again, warm, mellow, dare I say organic. Girlfriend laughed like mad when I said organic. So what's wrong with that? It's made out of brass. Guitar's made out of wood, metal, so it's organic. Makes me sound like a hippie, but it does sound quite different to a lot of the other guitars I've got. What else have we got? As you can see, she's battered all the way around. Absolutely lovely it is. Gave it to a friend, he picked it up, played about 3 chords on it. First thing he said is, it sings, which it does. I mean, not plugged in. Apart from the fact she's out of tune at the moment. But it is very mellow. Right, only other difference, if you know anything about this guitar, you'll know what all these controls are. You've got your standard tele, front pickup, both, rear pickup, volume, tone, the secret switch, the other secret switch, and the preamp control. Now on this, the difference between this one and the proper Fender reissue, there's a couple. On the original one, this is the phase switch, but on this one, this is the phase switch. That's the preamp switch. Phase switch, rather than getting confused over the original and this one, let's just explain the phase switch. The phase switch only works when that pickup and that pickup is working together, so like that, in the middle position. Normally your guitar's playing both pickups now in phase, so the magnetism is going the same way. As soon as you click that the opposite way around, it reverses one of the pickups. and you get this really thin, it's quieter than the other two settings, but it's really thin sounding, quite distinct, great sound. That's when the preamp comes in, because the preamp boosts that to the same level as all the other settings, so it becomes a lot more usable. So really, you don't really touch that switch at all, unless if you're going to use both pickups as a standard standard setting, yeah, you'd never touch it. If you're going to use it out of phase all the time and using both pickups, you leave it one way, so I can't really see me moving that at all. It's just going to be set to phase reversal all the time, because I don't tend to play with both pickups, I either use one or the other. But obviously the phase reversal gives you a really interesting third option. Right, going on to the preamp actually has complete bypass. So the signal is completely avoiding the whole circuitry of this. Now, the original doesn't do that. It doesn't have the pull out on and off. When it's out, it's on bypass. So playing the whole guitar using all these, that has no effect whatsoever. Even if you click it on, it has no effect whatsoever. So you can click the circuit on and not be using it. As soon as you click that down, the preamp comes in. At the lowest setting, the preamp volume is pretty much exactly the same as the sound that you're outputting without using it. So the process of switching that on while you're playing, and then obviously you won't hear anything until you go click like that. You don't hear a volume change. I can't hear a volume change. It's so minimal. It's hardly worth bothering with, which is nice. Which now means you can carry on playing, but then you can crank that up. As you crank it up, it's basically just a booster. It boosts the output up quite a lot. It's not a distortion, it's not really an overdrive as such, but it will overdrive a valve, and it boosts the levels up something dramatic for the out of phase setting, which is nice. It does give an interesting change to the sound, which I'll show you. I'll do a little demo of it afterwards. The actual circuit for it, if anybody's interested what the circuit is in there, I think it looks like it's an Artec, oh god, what's it called? VTC, I think it's called, valve tone MOSFET preamp, I think it is. I know there's loads of debate about what the preamp was in his car, and even in his guitar, and even Andy Summers doesn't actually know what it was. There's rumours it's the Eric Clapton one modified slightly, and that's what's in the Fender reissue, but even then they're not 100% certain, so go with what you get basically. I mean, you could go on forever, but it does the job. That's pretty much it. Right, we'll do some sound later. Right, here we go then. On that. Right, it's just going straight into the jazz chorus. What have we got? We've got preamp off, front pickup. Rear pickup. Both pickups. Both pickups phase reversed. Go So there it's that sort of. As against back pickup on its own. It's quite a bit quieter, but shove a distortion on it, or use the preamp, volume comes up. So, next option, preamp on. It's now on. But I haven't engaged the circuit, so I'm still in bypass mode, if this makes sense. Click it on. Oh. That was wrong, wasn't it? I'm still getting used to this. That's the difference in volume. So on front pickup, the difference, obviously it's not going to overdrive this because it's complete jazz chorus. No valves in it. Just bangs the volume up. Crank it up to full. Back pickup. Both out of phase. Back with it off again. So the main difference between the main one, which is what throws me a bit actually, because I've set mine up so that is the phase switch, but it isn't. That's the phase switch on this one. That's the preamp switch. So it keeps throwing me every time. And at the moment I ain't using the preamp anyway. Apparently on the original it didn't work anyway for years and years. It was only when it very first started in the place that it worked, and apparently it packed up not that long into the career, so it was never used after that on later stuff. But it'd be handy for things like solos. You know, you're playing along, you've got it engaged, blah blah blah. I don't know. You're playing away on something. Suddenly cut through. Back into rhythm. Very handy for that sort of thing. You can get that hole. So you can do what you want with it. It's actually a lot more versatile style guitar than just playing police covers. You can play rock stuff, you can play whatever you want really on it, metal. So yeah, there's a lot going on there. That's it. That's the baby. Everyone should have one. Well, I think you should.